please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi, welcome to our Auto Expo special here on CNBC TV18. We are at the 14th edition of India's biggest auto show, where there are 25 manufacturers who are showcasing their production ready as well as concept cars. But what has really caught our fancy, of course, is that most manufacturers have chosen to showcase their electric concepts, right?
Absolutely, Sony. So in fact, that has been the highlight on this Auto Expo. Almost every manufacturer has come out with either an electric vehicle or a hybrid or some form of EV, and that has truly been the highlight. But let's start our innings with the largest manufacturer, Maruti Suzuki. So now most of you have probably already seen the all-new Swift, which is a big highlight from the Maruti stable. But what is being awaited now with bated breath is the pricing, which we'll only know tomorrow. But today Maruti did also showcase its concepts, and the big one from there was the Concept Future S. Let's take a look.
This is the Maruti Suzuki Future S concept. It's a concept that envisions a compact crossover-ish vehicle that will sit between the likes of the Kwid and the KUV 100. It has compact dimensions. Maruti Suzuki is known to make really great compact cars. This, however, is a concept that will take production shape in a couple of years from now. It is really compact but has some really funky designs that will set it apart. There's a little bit of a KUV inspiration in there, not just the color, but even if you look at the headlamps, they're inspired from sports goggles. They have one seamless frame where the headlamps are integrated. You see a similar design at the back as well with the tail lamps. You have this really nice upright A-pillar design which nicely gels into the doors. And again, you have a two-door look. However, it is a four-door. You have two door handles on the side. But I think by the time this car reaches production, it will not have a suicide door on the rear. It will have something for more conventional door with a different looking C-pillar mounted door handle, something like what we've seen on the new Maruti Suzuki Swift. Maruti Suzuki hasn't really put any timelines on this particular vehicle, but like I said, it will be a compact crossover-ish vehicle that will sit between the likes of the Kwid and the KUV 100. It is much, much smaller than something like a Brezza or an EcoSport. And in that sense, I think it has all the ingredients to make it another successful product. Maruti doesn't have a product like this in its pipeline, in its portfolio, but now it has one in its pipeline. The Kwid has already shown us that there is a need and there is a market for a product like this. And the Future S should take shape as another successful product from Maruti Suzuki.
This you're saying is the car for the future. How much into the future can we expect it? First,
well, it's a concept car. So world over, the trend is that first a concept car is showcased, and then we invite the feedback from our customers. So based on that feedback, there would be certain modifications will be done, and then it will take the shape of a car which would be coming on the road.
So it's not just this. You're also going to showcase the other concept later. Tell me a little more about that.
We provided this time, to a SUV type that electric vehicle concept. Already we announced that in 2020 we tried to bring it Indian market first electric vehicle, and also future we considering this kind of type that the SUV, but we want to need customer how customer respond that kind of thing.
Well, the big story of the day today was Kia Motors' India debut at the Auto Expo 2018. So behind me you can see Kia has showcased 16 vehicles, but the important one from there is the SP concept, which is the Hyundai Creta rival, and we'll see a production version in 2019. Take a look.
What you see behind me is the Kia SP concept, which will take production shape and launch the Kia brand into the Indian market by the end of 2019. Slightly different engines. Of course, the specs have not been revealed yet. All that will be revealed in 2019. But what you need to see here is this concept is quite ready for production. There are, of course, a few bits like the really futuristic looking headlamps, the very detailed tail lamps, and if you look on the inside, you also have those two large display panels which form the infotainment as well as the instrumentation. All that might be watered down. It may become sober by the time this car reaches production, but That's about it. The rest of the engineering, the rest of the bodywork, the rest of the car is very close to what the final production form will be. It will be in the same space as the Creta. That means it will be placed over the Vitara Brezza. It will be placed in that 15 to 20 lakh rupee bracket, and that is what this car is all about. The shape of the taillights, if you look at the shape of the slightly squared off wheel arches, that's very much like the Creta. However, the face, that is where all the design differences are. Like I said, this will be sobered down, this will be watered down when it reaches production, but that's the basic design, that's the basic design theme that we will see on not only Kia, but most of the future Hyundais as well. It's something that we've already seen on the Kona, where you have a slightly sleeker strip of lights on the top and you have a slightly more chunkier set of lights at the bottom. That's a similar theme that we see on the face of the SP as well, and that is something that we'll see in its production form as well. The Tiger nose, the Kia signature these days, it has been watered down a bit, and I think that will remain as it is for the production vehicle as well. But I think it's a very good looking car, a very fresh take on the Creta, which has already become a common sight on the Indian roads. And I think we can't just wait for this car out on the Indian roads. That happens in 2019. Now this is of course the highlight of the exhibit from Kia at the Auto Expo. But the reason why you really need to come here is for the other cars that you'll see in the Kia exhibit. There are 16 other models from their global lineup, and that also includes the Stinger GT. In fact, we've driven that car. I returned impressed from Germany when I drove that car, and I think you should come and have a closer look at that vehicle at the Kia exhibit if you're visiting the Auto Expo. Like I said, there's a huge lineup of cars from its European and its global markets, and that's something that you need to look forward to as well. I'm not sure if any of these are going to make it their way into the country. The SP certainly is in 2019, like I keep saying every now and then. So we look forward to seeing this car out on the Indian roads. Thank you for watching, and do visit the Kia exhibit at the Auto Expo.
We're joined by Mr. Han-Woo Park, President and CEO at Kia Motors. Thank you, Mr. Park, for taking out the time to be with us on CNBC TV18. When can we expect to see the first car roll out from your Andhra Pradesh plant in Anandpur? So when can we expect the first car to be in the Kia showrooms?
Yeah, and now we are constructing our Andhra Pradesh plant, and we'll complete the construction work in 2019 September. When you will see my first cars from the September of 2019.
So what are the products that we can expect Kia to start with in India?
Yeah, we'll start it from the compact SUV segment, and next one also we'll consider small compact segment, and we'll decide the future model in the compact passenger car segment. Or anyway, we'll introduce India market 3 models in a 3 years future.
Time for us to take a quick pit stop here on the show, but come right back because we have a few more interesting cars on the show, as well as a very interesting interview. Earlier today, we went to the Tata Motors pavilion and checked out all of their cool concepts, and we also caught up with the MD and CEO of Tata Motors. Here's a quick look.
Well, you're joining us at the Auto Expo 2018. And all the action, all the excitement seems to be centered around the Tata Pavilion, and that behind me is the reason for it. So that's the new concept, H5X by Tata Motors. Now, we know that it's based on the Freelander's L550 platform, but it's absolutely stunning to look at. I mean, this is a car, and there's so many launches and concepts that you see. Now we've seen it with the Nexon when they launched the Nexon, or at least showed the Nexon. The prototype looked really good, and people wondered if they would actually be able to get that design into production, and they did. And just take a look at this H5X concept. It's absolutely stunning to look at. Nothing like the Freelander that it's based on. So now Tata Motors tells us that there will be a localization of parts, and obviously it will be more suited to the Indian environment and Indian roads and Indian conditions. But in terms of looks, just now if you notice at the little things, the rims that you see there are actually 22-inch alloy wheels. Now the platform supposedly is designed in a way where this is the largest size of rim that it can accommodate, but they look absolutely stunning. 265 section tires. Now if you notice in the back here, so you can actually, that's a push tray back there. So once you push it out, there's actually a hover board inside there. The side footboards that you see, they actually extend to give you more, to allow you to step inside nicely. Well sculpted lines, absolutely proportionate design. Really good looking. Now we cannot get close to the car and actually show you the interior, and also this is a prototype, so there's a lot of things that might not finally come into the production stage, but in terms of the way it looks right now and how the body panels are being crafted and the attention to detail, looks absolutely gorgeous. The cuts at the back, just the silhouette that every line cuts, I think in terms of a design job, and which is all that we can see right now, the H5X looks absolutely wonderful. What powertrains it's going to have, how it's going to eventually drive, that we'll obviously know once there is a production version of this car. But what we see so far looks really, really good.
I had seen the Racemo in Geneva, but this is an electric powertrain. So talk to me a little more about this.
The Racemo, as such as we presented it in Geneva, has actually collected lots of credits. There was lots of excitement the same day. We received emails, direct contacts coming from the customers. When can we get the vehicle? Where is it going to be launched? As far as the evolution of the product as such is concerned, and we always had it on the drawing board, we said there should also be an opportunity to make it electric. Right. And since the Tiggo EV is a low voltage solution, 72 volt, this one, that's the major difference. Otherwise, it would not be able to give this, the Racemo, the right characteristic. That's a high voltage solution, which is going to give this car driving characteristics which are at least on par with the internal combustion engine.
While a lot of attention has been on the Maruti Suzuki Swift, Hyundai has launched the facelifted Elite i20. Take a look.
We had told you that the Auto Expo is going to have a lot of action in the premium hatchback space. The Swift launches tomorrow, and Hyundai can't stay behind, can they? The i20 has been updated, it's got a facelift. Take a closer look at what's changed. The biggest change at the front, of course, is the new grille. We've already seen that appear on the Grand i10. This is the new philosophy, the new design philosophy for the grille that is being followed, and you see that on the i20 as well. It's very nicely integrated. Even though this is a midlife makeover, it doesn't look like an afterthought. Very nicely done up. Even the headlamps have been given an upgrade now. You get new DRLs, you get new fog lamps as well. It's not a very different or not a big departure from the Elite i20 that we've seen, but I think what we have here looks quite smart. If you like the 3-pot cluster of the tail light, you're going to miss that on the new i20. It gets a slightly more different design. I think it looks premium. It looks very much like a typical European design in that sense. And that's the major change at the back. You also get new bumpers that have a slightly different design for this applique. It's got a different design for the fog lamps. You also get daytime running lights even at the back. I think the overall design of the rear is quite comprehensive. The front doesn't look that different like we've already seen, but the tail certainly has a lot more going for it, and I think it looks quite good. Not many changes on the inside of the i20. It continues with its proven formula of having a nice minimalist design. It continues with a black and beige combination, or rather the colors are a little different than what we've seen on the Elite i20 so far. But it's a nice, refreshing feel inside the cabin, and that's thanks to the brighter colors used. Even the upholstery is slightly different. You get this touchscreen infotainment system in the dash. It's compatible with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, so not a big change there. Change in color. And that's because you have a dual tone combination here. You get a contrasting roof on this particular variant. There are a few trims, there are a few variants where you will be able to choose a dual tone combination. You also get these really nice 19-inch diamond cut alloy wheels. We know that Hyundai loves diamond cut alloy wheels, and the Elite i20 gets a new design as well. In terms of safety, it continues to have 6 airbags, which has always been its best-in-class feature. But now you also get ABS and dual airbags as a standard fit across the range. I think that's a very responsible move. This is a grudge that we had with the Grand i10 and with the i20 as well. But now with the new, or rather the facelifted i20, it has been fixed. Hyundai has not just showcased but actually launched the updated version of the Elite i20 here at the Auto Expo. The prices range from 5.35 lakh all the way up to 9.15 lakh. Now this, of course, is the star of the exhibit, but the other vehicle to watch out for at the Hyundai exhibit at the Auto Expo is, of course, the Ioniq, a vehicle that is headed to India. It promises a lot of future technologies like hybrid and electrification, so that is something that you certainly need to check out.
Well, BMW today unveiled the new M5 Sport Sedan as well as the 6 Series Gran Turismo. Other than that, Utkarsh caught up with BMW's brand ambassador as well as cricket icon Sachin Tendulkar. Take a look.
Everybody has this thing about the first car they buy. Which was your first car and how was the feeling? Can you take us through that?
Well, my first car was in '93, which wasn't a brand new car. It was a second-hand BMW, because obviously I didn't have deep pockets then, and it was not so possible to go out to a showroom, or rather in those days one had to import the cars, and then, you know, duty was astronomical, I think 350% or something like that. But from a friend of mine, I just picked up a second-hand car, and that was my first car, which was 320i, if I'm not mistaken.
So from then till now, which has been your favorite car till point of time?
Well, they all are made differently, in the sense, if you talk about the X5M, which is a fabulous SUV, but if I have to go for practice or on chores, whatever, that is the one. If I'm going out for dinner with my wife, then I think 7 Series is luxurious. If I'm doing both, taking my family, then I think M5 is really, really good. So all these different cars meet my requirements. But it's hard to single out one, but handling and sportiness, I think nothing matches I8.
There was a lot of buzz in the two-wheeler space, and let's see what the big players were up to.
Big news from the 2018 Auto Expo as far as Hero is concerned is this. That's the Xpulse 200. The powertrain is based on the Extreme 200R, which Hero just recently showed everybody, and the prices will come very shortly. But this motorcycle should go on sale. My guess is by Diwali, but Hero's official line is before the calendar year is out for sure. Now, it's not just a variant based on the Extreme. They have done a lot of work on it. So to give you an idea, the front suspension is thicker, it's retuned, and it's got more travel, roughly 30 mm more travel at both ends of the motorcycle. Single channel ABS. And currently Hero is saying we are not going to allow you to switch it off because there's a wide variation in customers. May not be a good idea to let them switch it off, although obviously that would help in off-roading. The other part of it is seat height remains quite low, 825 mm, reasonable, and it's a narrow motorcycle, so you get your feet down. There's an LCD console which shows you a lot of information and syncs to your phone, a USB charger under the seat, so in that sense a lot of equipment as well. Overall, convincing dual sport package. I think the time is right. Pricing they haven't commented on, but if I were to guess a price, I would say around the 1 lakh rupee mark. Think about it as about 15 to 20% more expensive than the Extreme 200R, and for that I think you'd get a lot of motorcycle. In fact, you'd get a small, compact, fun motorcycle that you'd have a lot of fun with. Hero's also making a very clear point, saying we did give it 21-inch wheels, 18-inch rear, but we ensured that the handling was fun on the road and off it, and that's something that will be very interesting to see. Because of pricing, I think they're still not going to tubeless wheels, so these are tube. This particular one's wearing Metzeler Saharas. There's some other supplier who will also give you an alternate set of off-road tires, but as I said, convincing. This is what an India-ready dual sport motorcycle needs to look like, and before this year is out, you'll be able to buy one.
So thanks a lot for speaking to us. Now, we spoke, I think, 2 months back in Bahamas, and you had promised 6 new products. Now you've exceeded, now there's 7. Is this now the new foray into the premium and the scooter segment which you promised last time?
Absolutely. I've been saying this now for some time, because Hero's market share in the scooter segment is not healthy enough for me. Also in the premium segment, it's a very small market share, which is why we've had a focus in our design development at the R&D for now some time, and you started to see these products being shown now.
This is your foray into the 125cc scooter segment. How important that segment is, Sergo, and given the fact that now high-powered scooter is something which people are looking at, how important will that segment be?
With our entry into the 125cc with these 2 new scooters, we are bound to get very healthy market shares.
Any targets which you can share with us?
Today we are at about 14% of the scooter market. We are surely gunning for at least 20% very soon.
Well, that was just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more coming your way tomorrow. Right, Arif?
Right, absolutely, Sohini. So today was a day of more serious launches, but there are plenty of more cool concepts at the Auto Expo. We'll bring you a bunch of those tomorrow. And like we told you at the beginning of the show, the important thing to watch out tomorrow is the pricing of the all-new Swift from Maruti Suzuki. That will be keenly waited and watched out for. So do stay tuned to CNBC TV18. All the action from the Auto Expo coming up right here with us.